is from Methodist. The time she entered the door, she was singing now, Mari ndiye jingo. Then I was just looking at her like this, saying, Yangu ndiye. Looking at her like, you think you can separate me from my taps? Simba, me, I was answering back. Redu, yeah. The way she was dancing as if she ever loved me like this. Baku, me, I said, Baku, money, kids, one, Konzeruya, Muro. You know, deep inside we are telling each other, devil, you know. But what can she do? She just had to pretend to be happy. So me, I'm doing this, she's doing that, and my mother is just there, and Baba Titi is just there as well. So she hugged me. I just hugged her. Makorikoto, I said, you know, because you know when you are enemies like this. So now Titi is there, baby is there, and then Taps was like, that very day on that labor bed, he was like, Mom, I want my wife back. And you know, the eye she gave him, like, but she can't say anything because there were people. I want my wife home. So I went back to my mother's house with my daughter, and Baba Titi would come and check on me and whatnot. So then Taps again, you know, with the love he had for me, that man, he had to try again. He took his relatives from the father side. He said, I'm going back to take my wife. So the mother was like, okay, go and take your wife. But from now, your wife will not be cooking for me. I'm going to give you your own cooking space. You cook on your own, which means nda murumura. So they came and then they took me back. And when they took me back, we started living happily together again. Me and Brother Taps, pum pum, back to eating it. And now I was staying at the back. My Amwene was staying at the front of the house. Me, I was staying I had my 2 rooms at the back of the house. So now I was staying there. Little did we know that all this while when Brother Taps was ordering, HIV visited. But now Brother Taps didn't know. You know, someone who was just ordering all the way. So now when my daughter was almost a year old, that was now in 2000 and is it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if I'm not mistaken, I got a headache. Now when I got a headache, we went back to our family doctor. Remember Dr. Maketa? That doctor was my doctor for years. We went back to Glenview 3, then I had a headache. Now I went Dr. Maketa again. Dr. Maketa was like, this your headache. Have you ever gone for HIV testing? I was like, yeah, I got tested when I was still pregnant and I was okay. Even when I gave birth, then Dr. Maketa was like, no, go back and get tested. So now Brother Taps was sitting right next to me, but I could see Brother Taps fidgeting, like he was not comfortable when the doctor was talking about HIV. He was not okay. I said, what is going on? So I said, okay, I'll go to New Start Center tomorrow to go and get tested. So we went back home. That night, Brother Taps couldn't sleep. He was not okay. I said, Brother Taps, is there anything that you want to tell me? is there anything that you want to tell me? Brother Taps was like, no. But all I want you to know is no matter how the results are going to come out, I love you, you are my wife. He's already summarizing. Why are you panicking? He was not preaching to me, life goes on. I said, what is wrong with this man? So the next day, remember I was breastfeeding. Then I went to New Start Center. Then I got tested. And then when I got tested now, the lady who was the counselor at New Start Center called me in their office and said, are you ready for your results? I said, yes. Then she said, if you are to be found positive, what will you do? I said, I will just accept it as it is and I'll move on. I said, okay. Then she looked at me in my eyes and then she said, we are sorry. You are HIV positive. Hey! I went giddy from my chair. I fainted like this. And then they come and then there was commotion. I could hear voices. Yahweh, come and help. Pour some water. Yahweh, this and that. And then they poured water and I woke up. I said, what did you say? They said, you are positive. Again, I went giddy. Fainted the second time. I fainted even 10 times, fainting and waking up. Then when I woke up like this, the last time I woke up, I hold a collar like this. I said, I'm going to kill you. Don't kill me. I'm not the one who gave you HIV. I wanted to kill everybody. I was confused. I ran mad. New Start Center. I was going mad like this. I went crazy, because I was not expecting it. It was like the end of the day for me. And then I called my mother. And then when my mother picked the phone, I said, Mama, Dafa. I remember saying that to my mother. And then, my mother is also dramatic. She's like, Wathira kupi. I think Dafira kunoku New Start. Ndinedzi, Mama. Mama, ndinedzi. The next thing I heard from my mother's end is like, your way, my way. Giddy boy. My mother is also dramatic like me. I knew then she had fainted. I cried. In fact, I grew. If I say I cry, it's a small. I crewed. I crewed like this. I was walking up like a mad woman. In the room now, they said, lock the door because she will run in the road and then, the next thing, say, where is your husband? I said, call him. So they called him, said, Mr. Mtikan, we have your wife here. The way he was so calm, So when I took the phone from the counselor's hand, I was like, Wandu Raya, Zhure, Wandu Raya. I was shouting on top of my voice like this. And I've never seen Brother Taps so calm the way you are so calm like this. Not even to say, oh my God, or what. He said, I'm coming there. That was Brother Taps. Then he came to New Start Center, Brother Taps. And when I saw him, I gave him slaps. I gave him fists like this. I hold his collar like this. I zoomed at him like this. He was just like, I'm sorry. That's all he could say. He didn't even say, oh, it's not mine. Where did you get it and what? No. He just held me like this. He said, I'm sorry. I am sorry. That's all he could say. Me, I was biting him, beating him. All he could say is, I am sorry. So, I think hours later, now New Start Center was closing around 4. Because they said, you can't go with her when she's doing this. She'll run mad in town. You have to wait for her to be calm. So we're just locked in that room. Me, I was just performing like a mad woman. And then my mother was confused. The whole baking body, people were busy pouring her water. She had already collapsed. And then there was chaos. Brother Taps now, after, now New Start Center got closed. Now they'd finished their week. And then we were told to go home. They're like, no, you need to come so that we will refer you to any, of our centers so that you start taking your meds and, whatnot. And also they said, Brother Taps, you also need to be tested. And you know what Brother Taps said? He said he doesn't want to be tested. He said he will get tested some other time. Like he knew. So now we went. I was not myself. Ooh, I felt like it's the end of the world. I was crying. And once you discover that, you start seeing yourself as if you are now sick already. I was already seeing myself with these hormones like this. Every time when I was home, I would take a mirror, look at myself, because it was now in the brain. It was now in the mindset that, no, I'm sick. So back to my Angwene's house, the time I just got there. The time I just got to the yard like this, I cried. Mana wenyandi uraya. Mana wenyandi tata chirweri. And this my Angwene, now we are like Tom and Jerry. She's like, shut up there. Which chirweri? You have a child already. When you come in this village, you already had a baby. So what makes you say it's my son? It is you. I said, today is today. We started exchanging words. You are a bitch. I said, you are a bigger bitch. I said, you are a bigger. He said, yeah, and I said, and you too. I said, and you three. And I said, yeah, you four. It was like World War. I said, today is today. I'm going to kill some. I was running mad. That day, HIV went into my head, straight into my brain like this. He said, you have killed my son. I said, you are a stupid fool. So you are. I said, and you too. And I said, you times 10. It was chaotic that day. It was batai. And then Baba Titi, Brother Taps, he was nowhere to be found. He was just sitting down like this. He didn't even know who to grab that day. Boss, she said, I'm going to tear my clothes. I said, me too. I'll take off my pants. I'll put in my head. Today you will see me. Today you will see me too. It was like a movie. She took off her blouse. I took off mine. I say, today we shall see. And then people came. I remember people were now coming. What is going on? What is going on? She's saying, this prostitute. I said, this prostitute, this big prostitute. So I said, and you too. People were confused. People screaming, people throwing things until, later on, the chaos died down. And then now, Taps, he couldn't even say film. He couldn't even say film, like he couldn't even react. Then later on, the chaos died down and then we slept. And there was no pum-pum. Remember, we were tired from the fight. And then my mom was also tired from the war. She was sleeping. Me too, I was sleeping. And then, me and Taps. And then the next day now, I woke up and I looked at my daughter. Remember, I was breastfeeding. I couldn't breastfeed. I started crying. Now reality was now striking that, okay, I'm HIV and I'm thinking I'm breastfeeding. So it means my daughter has it too. I started crying. It was now a difficult moment for me accepting it. And then Taps was trying to comfort me. It is well. It's not like it's the end of the world. It's not like I'm saying it's over. Taps was just, he knew already. So, there was no need for him to even shout because he knew what he was doing. Then days later, because we were no longer talking and now I was no longer breastfeeding, I had to quickly go and buy naan. And then my parents came to see me. We brought naan one and, they were now teaching me how to feed my baby with naan one. And things just changed. The love was, I didn't want now to eat pum-pum now with Taps. Even if he wanted to, now I did not want to eat pum-pum like this. So now our marriage was falling apart. And I went to get my daughter tested and then she was negative. I thanked God. They said, you should come again after 3 months so that we are certain that she's okay. So we started living together, but now things were no longer the same. Things were no longer the same. Things were no longer the same. It was fight after fight with him, with my mother-in-law. We drifted apart. We were no longer the same. We were no longer the same. Up until now, Taps, he went wild. It really disturbed everything. He continued with his worrying until I couldn't take it anymore. Then we decided to move from the mother's place because we're no longer living in peace. Then we started renting in Warren Park. But then it was just war after war after war after war, up until Taps left me in Warren Park and went back again to his mother's house. That's how everything, ended. And then now Taps was now dating this Magogo. They continued with Magogo from Econet. And then I started staying by myself with my kids. And then I struggled with my 2 children. It was not easy. I started selling our property. Remember, we had property from our wedding. We had my couch, we had 4-plate stove, we had the fridge, we had everything. So I started selling property in order for me to take care of my kids. And there was no one. And I applied for maintenance, but it was not the same. And then when we went to court, they told Tabs to pay, I think it was $30. It was not even enough. And sometimes he would pay, sometimes he won't pay. I would